Alright, so this is another episode of Sqwadcast.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry, I'm an asshole.
Is that what we're doing?
By the nice warm fire inside.
That I can change the volume of with my remote.
Today's episode we're going to talk about social media, how it's impacted our lives, how some worked, some didn't, other things that may pop into our head involving social media. It's Blake and Ryan again, so it's the three of us back at it. And
Back at it again with the Sqwadcast.
Oh my god.
Damn.
No. No.
So,
I spend most of my time on social media avoiding that kind of bullshit.
Oh, perfect segue. You guys are welcome.
I
God's
feel
work.
as if social media definitely, even though some existed beforehand, it exploded these past 5, maybe 7 years.
Well, yeah, you've got the growth of
Thoughts?
Instagram, Twitter exploding in a way a lot of people really did not expect it to. You've
Fun
got
fact, Twitter, since its inception, has not been making a profit.
so it's kind of been someone else's baby, hasn't it?
Sure. I actually just read about that on Forbes the other day. Someone brought it up in my friends group on Discord. We were talking about Twitter. And they said that it hasn't turned a profit. I was like, that's bullshit. There's no way. Because we were talking about the new Facebook stories, right? And how that's now a thing. So, yeah, I looked it up. Twitter has not made money at all since 2006 or...
Yeah, I think it came out in 2006.
Yeah, like its peak was holiday season of 2008. And ever since then, yeah.
Well,
Well, the interesting thing is it's got such a relentless user base. You would think they would have more ad revenue, but
You'd
they
think.
don't really have much in the way of actual paid advertisements on the site. But maybe that's just because everyone and their cousin uses AdBlock.
But I mean, there's sponsored ads or sponsored tweets that are always and promoted tweets that are always a thing.
Yeah.
So like, I don't
I
understand how. Well, anyway, I mean, that's not really the main topic. It's just kind of an offshoot about social media and its profits. But continue, Tim.
I would just...
Do what you were doing. Do what you do best.
Okay.
Well, we were talking about how sites like Facebook came to prominence in like the
Facebook was...
late 2000s.
Because I remember when Facebook kind of first became a thing. It was my brother got one. My brother's 4 years older than me.
When it was exclusively for high schoolers.
I thought it was for college.
It was
For college, yeah. Whatever.
So my brother got one his senior year of high school, but he had his college stuff. So he got one, and then I asked him about it because I was still on MySpace. Right?
Hey!
And I asked him
out
about
JT.
it, and he literally said, "Oh, like you can't because you're not in college." And I thought that was my brother being like mean to me, but then I found out that I actually couldn't because I didn't have a college email or whatever you needed. But then my junior year of high school, so between 8th grade and my junior year of high school, I was like, well, why do all these people all of a sudden have Facebook? Right? Because like they're not in college, they're younger than me. So I was a bit of a holdout for Facebook until I went to college. And then I was like, everybody has it. Because I already knew everyone in high school, so I felt like having a Facebook wouldn't really benefit my friendships, I guess, and my acquaintances. But then when I went off to college, I was like, okay, I should probably like get one so I can branch out and be friends with new people. So I think Facebook kind of became a thing then. And then I feel like now it's kind of slowing down.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, less people are on Facebook.
It's old people Facebook now.
Yeah, Facebook is bleeding all of its, I guess you could call it its market share off the other social media sites now. A lot of people would just rather tweet or Instagram or Snapchat, and they might link it back to their old Facebook, but not as many people are doing it anymore.
Yeah, I was a holdout on Twitter too, because I felt like it was just a simpler version of Facebook, and I was like, all right. But then I got into Twitter, and I was like, oh, well, literally everyone is on it. Like, Facebook felt like more friends interacting with people. Twitter, I can follow a baseball reporter and find out trades a minute after they happen. And I was like, well, this is awesome. So I got a Twitter and started following, like, a lot of people from ESPN and sports stuff and, you know, all this stuff. And now it's, like, so prominent, like, news reporters have it under their name during a news broadcast, you know, and crazy stuff like that. Like, it's almost become natural to just automatically associate with someone with their Twitter.
That's definitely true. I mean, it's very rare that you actually see someone not plug their Twitter in almost anything, really. I mean, I'm sure at the end, I mean, I don't have cable, but, you know, at the end of shows, I can't imagine, like, you know, someone like during Cutthroat Kitchen or something, Alton Brown doesn't at some point talk about his Twitter or have his Twitter somewhere that's up on the screen somewhere to follow him. Which, by the way, follow Alton Brown on Twitter. He's fantastic. And he live tweets all of his shows with sticky notes, and it's fantastic. But it's become such a easy way to connect with these stars and kind of have an interaction that you were never able to have before. You know, you're talking to a celebrity in a sense, you know, like in 180 characters.
I mean, I've had a couple times where I went back and forth with people.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like they liked it. And I was like, oh my God, like Brent Moore, the comedian, and Scott Hoying, the singer of Pentatonics, one of the members, multiple times, well, with Scott, because I was in for Halloween one year. So we went back and forth, and then Brent Moore and I tweeted about laughing inappropriately during work because his jokes kept popping in, and we tweeted back and forth. So, like, it's kind of cool that can happen. Having some technical difficulties here.
I think it's fine.
But at what point is it like considered? Is it a good or bad thing? I guess is the main question.
I think it's a good thing. It allows fans to connect to their idols, or keep up to date on a lot of things, and specifically keep up to date on what dumb shit Donald Trump says on Twitter.
Well, that brings up how open should a celebrity be on Twitter? Because I feel like the more respected ones aren't that active. Like, Justin Timberlake isn't that active. Ryan Gosling isn't that active. I'm trying to think of other people I tried to follow.
Bryan Cranston's not that
Bryan
active.
Cranston, yeah. Like, I feel like they're busy. Aaron Rodgers during the football season just shuts down. Like, I'm pretty sure he deletes Twitter. And then he'll, like, pop up with
He's too busy running the table, man.
Yeah, basically. Like, well, that's the point. Like, they're too busy at doing their jobs. Like, I feel like Twitter is almost a bad scale to judge someone on.
Yeah, I mean, you've got people who just tweet nonstop. They're not getting anything done.
Donald Trump! Sorry, I had something in my throat.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It was my foot.
They just on. Man, I was gonna make a point on Twitter, and it just kind of. But you guys were saying how good Twitter can be for like connecting with your idols and that sort of thing. But what spreads like wildfire is, of course, when someone does something stupid, someone screws up, and
memes.
And we'll get to memes later.
Yeah. All right,
but memes will
like,
be in the
that's
B
my
block.
favorite part.
When somebody fucks up, it's shared on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram.
The Twitterverse, man.
Yeah, and it just explodes, and then you have to deal with all the fallout from that. You've got to be prepared pretty much at all times in the real world that if you screw up, it could go viral.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be that idiot who
wore white bands.
who wore white Vans in front of another human being.
With the squeaky voice.
Exactly. And then you'll never live it down the rest of your life.
Yeah. And shout out to all the people who are actually named Daniel out there that are listening. I'm sorry.
God be with you.
Yeah.
I feel like that definitely has run its course.
Yeah, it did. But, I mean, for those 3 months,
forgotten.
shit, man, I'm sorry your name was Daniel. I hope you're kind of over that PTSD that was 3 months of, damn, Daniel.
So,
oh, God.
I guess the next thing would be how active we are on social media and how that affects our lives now. Because, like, I don't use Instagram. I don't have Instagram. Never had Instagram. Because I feel like it's just... If I were to post a picture on Facebook or Twitter, like, I would just post it there. And the people who followed me on Instagram would be the same or similar people who followed me on Facebook or Twitter.
Those filters, man.
Yeah. Snapchat has filters, too. But...
Yeah, but it's like a different kind of filter. But regardless.
Yeah, so that's why I never had an Instagram. People ask me all the time. They're like, why don't you have an Instagram? I was like, because you already follow me on 2 different accounts, and you have my Snapchat probably. Like, I just don't feel the need to do that. Like, at what point is it too much, social media?
Instagram always struck me as something that was, like, trying to be, like, oh, you're just trying to be artsy and stuff. So now you've got your Instagram models everywhere, people taking pictures of their food.
That shit. Okay, wait. Let's back up. Let's talk about these Instagram models. I am so fucking sick. I don't know if you guys have Instagram. I know you don't have Instagram, Tim. I don't know if you have one, Ryan. No. Okay, so it's very, very, very prevalent that there's these girls who literally are like 3/4 naked holding like a detox tea. I don't give a fuck. I don't fucking care. Take the tea, shove it up your ass, and brew it in your butt. And then drink it and die of sedentary.
Sedentary?
Sedentary. Sedentary lifestyle. Don't move. Just brew the tea in your butt. Then dysentery. But sedentary was also... It's alright. That's gold. That was gold.
Oh my God.
Sedentary.
So, yeah, fuck those people.
And that's also on Twitter, too. I feel like people have become famous through, at least with the aid of Twitter. There's no Twitter models. Not to my knowledge, at least.
That would be a very interesting job to write on a resume.
But I feel like more people, like, 2 people that come to mind are, one, I actually try to follow as much as I can. Grace Helbig. She's a comedian, is the best way to put it. She posts YouTube videos and she tweets a lot. Right? And I think she's pretty funny, though. And then there's Tyler Oakley as well, who is more of a YouTube, but he's pretty active on Twitter. I see him get retweeted a lot, and it shows up on my timeline. But I never actually, like, saw his videos or anything. But they use social media to help them gain stardom. So, is that the new norm, or
absolutely
will that ever die out? Using social media,
it runs back to what we were talking about before. It kind of allows these people to connect to their favorite people in a more personal way. You know, like I know Ryan and I are super active on YouTube and following YouTubers and stuff like that, and you know, religiously watching any videos that come out in our subscription boxes. Pretty much. In addition to watching videos from some of these famous YouTubers, you know, like I watch like C-Nanners, Gassy Mexican, Eat My Diction, Terrorizer, Mini Lat. Like I have a lot of these people that I watch, and in addition to just watching their videos and kind of seeing what's going on with that, and you know, having fun laughing at some of the games they're playing, I also follow them on Twitter because they have interesting lives. You know, it's a different lifestyle than a lot of celebrities. You know, like movie stars are always at banquets or whatever, and award ceremonies, which I don't really give a shit about the banquets and award ceremonies. I love watching TVs and movies and stuff, but what really gets me is these guys all go to Comic-Cons, they go to PAX. I mean, everyone's at PAX East right now, so like I'm not there. I was there once, and it was a fucking fun-ass time, and I want to go back. So it's nice for me to see them there and kind of live vicariously through them while they're there. And it's a little bit more personal, even though, like, obviously there's no real, like, interaction between us constantly. I feel like I'm closer to them and know more about them than you ever would.
Would you ever go, for both of you, would you ever go to a place now, or would you just save your money and just watch it through Snapchat or a live tweet?
Go to what place?
Like conventions.
Or absolutely.
Ceremonies or anything.
To meet like the favorite YouTubers,
or just to go.
Yeah, just to go. Because I mean, like, we have access to seeing all of it anyway. I mean, there are some things that I know, like Comic-Con, if they're releasing like a trailer or something, they won't like allow phones or something in certain rooms. But we're given such an open access. Like, does it lose its effect of being there in person?
I think it's impossible to boil down a 3-day event into a 3-minute video.
Yeah.
So you just try and get the cosplayers, the fans, and the most important celebrity who was there on camera, and they do that. But a lot of people Otakon just left Baltimore, or is leaving Baltimore to go to DC now. And I know a lot of people who were attending it just for like animation conventions and that sort of thing. Like, you can learn a lot at these things. Like, a lot of people just talk about the cosplays and the shops and meeting celebrities. There's a lot more to it.
Absolutely. And having gone to PAX before, gone to PAX East 6 years ago or something like that now, what I see on Twitter versus what I saw there is a whole different ballgame. You know, it's a completely different experience. It's, you walk around and get free shit for like 3 days. You meet your favorite gamers or your favorite software developers or whatever. You get to see new technologies or new games that are coming out. It's so different, and you can't really necessarily encapsulate that in a video, even if it's like, 15, 20 minutes long. Like, you're gonna miss something. They can't be everywhere. And just like you can't be everywhere when you're even at the convention, so it's very different. Now, I will preface that by saying that there are things that we don't have access to as regular people that aren't, tech reviewers or something like that are really on YouTube, that I have to watch the video to get any kind of synopsis of this convention. Like, I'm just really into tech, so there's a lot of conventions that go on that talk about technologies, and there's only certain, like, YouTubers, reviewers, or streamers and stuff that are allowed to even go to these press releases. So I have to watch those videos to be able to get the information. A huge example of that is Linus Tech Tips and like Paul's Hardware, Bitwit, and all that stuff. They just went to the AMD Ryzen launch convention thing. I don't have access to that, but I'm interested in the information that they're able to give me through these videos. So,
isn't Linus Tech Tips the guy who breaks everything at all the conventions?
Yes. But that's him. But like, without social media, I would have never been able to really know that information. So it's really helpful. And, I don't know when the AMD Ryzen launch is. They do, because they're invited to it. And because of social media, I was able to be aware of the time frame. Because, I'm looking to upgrade my computer, so knowing that time frame, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I should wait. I should hold out. And when Twitter didn't exist, I wouldn't have had that luxury. I probably would have wasted money that I could have otherwise saved by waiting, a couple months or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Another important one is you see a lot of cross-platform integration for these social media platforms. Like, you see people tweeting on Facebook and on Instagram. They all link up now.
I will say hashtags have become a thing
everywhere.
Yeah. Like, if I remember, Facebook used to it not be active, and then Zuckerberg was like, "Hey, everyone else is doing it. Let's make it so these actually work."
And I think that's one of the hallmarks of a successful social media website is they're willing to adapt and change. And so you can you can get your YouTube videos shared on Facebook or Twitter and that sort of thing. It's really important for a developer to get their video out there, or their brand of humor or their message across, anything like that. It's so easy for them to do that now. It's really important. You've also got websites that couldn't do that, like MySpace. I can't think of too many other social media websites because they just fall out of our consciousness as soon as we stop using them. Google Plus, which is basically just the YouTube comment backbone, I think. That's about it.
Yeah. Literally it. I mean, like, do you consider Tumblr a social media website?
Well, that was going to be my next question. Where is the line of what's social media and what isn't? Like, is Snapchat social media?
I think social media has to be public facing. You know what I mean?
Well, so then Snapchat would be considered it based on that definition, I guess.
Yeah, I'd consider Snapchat social media. It's powered by the people. There's not really a central group in charge of, like, showing you everything that's happening on Snapchat. Now, Team Snapchat will, like, send you updates and
I mean, they have the discovery
news
thing,
and
too.
stuff. Yeah, that too.
Which is shitty, but...
I mean, yeah, but it's still powered by the users.
Right.
In that sense, you could say Tumblr is social media, and it's important for a lot of its users because it has a certain level of anonymity. So they can socialize with their community. But on another hand, it's just another forum. Mm-hmm. And it wouldn't technically be social media to a lot of other people.
Now, would you consider something like Reddit?
Yeah,
social media?
I feel like Tumblr and Reddit would fall into the same category.
They're
weird
totally
little
different gray area.
Yeah, but
I feel like Tumblr's more social media than Reddit is,
because Reddit is a little more headline based.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's things that delve a little bit deeper and a little bit more personal between users. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the same thing goes for Tumblr too. You know, like some things can be a little bit more personal, but
I feel like Tumblr is more people relating to each other,
right,
and following. I feel like Reddit, you could just find something hilarious and upvote it, and then be done.
Yeah,
I don't know anybody. Like, I'm trying to phrase this properly. Like, they're all funny usernames. You know, you don't see a profile picture or bio or anything.
Yeah, it's not as personal as like Tumblr.
Yeah,
I guess
Tumblr has like your own profile. You know, you could say something about you. People tend to interact with each other over that. It seems to be a certain demographic on Tumblr. You know.
Yep.
But it's a similar layout, though. That's why I think they would be put together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say Tumblr is more of a social media network than Reddit is. Whereas Reddit's just more of a media distribution network.
Yeah.
If that
it's the front page of the internet
really
man.
matters.
It's the front page of the internet.
I don't know if it's the front page anymore. It's kind of fallen behind a little bit.
I mean, that's their catchphrase.
I know.
That's their tagline. Okay.
I know.
All right. I'm just
I go on Reddit every day, like every successful human being.
Well, successful, I don't know about that, because I feel like my productivity level diminishes very fast when I have Reddit open.
Oh no, I was not serious at all.
Oh, all right, perfect. Just making sure we were on the same front page there.
I refuse.
All right, keep the knives away from my friends.
Oh god, so I'm at a loss to where to bring this now. So we had just gone over Tumblr and Reddit, and where they kind of sit.
And like, obviously Facebook, Twitter, and I guess Instagram would like they're social media.
Yeah,
like people can't not say that.
I definitely
we kind of went over the line there of what's what.
I definitely have an interesting thing that we can talk about, since it's actually very recent news. I did talk about it and touch on it in the very beginning, but Facebook adding a stories feature. Now, if everyone's familiar, I'm sure, with the transition that has kind of happened with these stories. It started out on Snapchat. You had a Snapchat story that you could add to, and then everyone could view. And then Instagram decided that it also wanted to take on a story feature. So Instagram has a story feature that is essentially the exact same thing as Snapchat, but, you know, it has like filters, different filters and dumb shit like that. Now Facebook has also added that. Is there a point where everything is becoming too similar to each other that it could be detrimental to each specific brand as itself? Or is it just kind of complacency for society to be adjusted and used to this same style across all platforms?
I think it depends on who pioneered it and if it could be like, I feel like Facebook stories, I don't know, I haven't seen it yet or how it works yet, and I don't know, obviously I don't know how it works on Instagram, but I feel like Snapchat kind of goes with the design of Snapchat. You know, you send pictures, or if you want to just post it, it's like, here's one for the public. Whereas Facebook, I'm already in public.
That's an Instagram story. Literally the same shit. Like,
Okay.
Literally.
Yeah, so this all goes to my theory, though. I developed this theory about a few years ago that they're all social media is just eventually going to just be one giant thing. Because
Yeah.
I feel like they're all trying to, like, Facebook took hashtags, and I feel like hashtags definitely started on Twitter, or at least became popular through Twitter.
Absolutely.
You know, and then Instagram also has them. Facebook got them as well. Now the stories are going, you know, all this stuff. You go live on anything now, Facebook Live and Twitter, and that Periscope that's linked through Twitter.
Yeah.
All that stuff. I just feel like eventually they're just going to be like, hey, we're all doing the same exact thing.
I mean, they pretty much are.
Yeah, so it's
And
going to be
that
one.
really
Like, I
kind
feel
of
like
bothers me.
that's why I don't have Instagram. That's why I don't look into new things coming. I feel like we've kind of hit that point where if something new comes out, we're not interested in it because eventually they're all going to,
Well, it's because it's
adapt
not
to each
different,
other.
right?
yeah. Or
The
if
last
it is,
new, like, creative thing that came out was Snapchat.
Yeah.
And it was different.
So basically, all these social media websites are just trying to do everything and just be the one with the biggest user base, so that once all the social media sites are all doing all the same things, the biggest one just wins by default, basically. But, you know, if a user base gets bad, people are going to leave in droves and go somewhere else. But it's also really... people would say it's a good thing, you know, social media, it can be the same anywhere you go, so you can do different things on different sites and do different, like keep track of different circles on different sites. The way Google Plus tried to with its circle jerk.
That's probably the best way to describe it.
But just they're all trying to eat one another. But a very old story of how to be successful in business goes back to the like ragu tomato sauce. One of the very early like business gurus that I ever heard of, this guy was like, if you try and make the same thing better, you're not gonna win just because there's a bigger name. You're not going to beat Twitter at hashtags because you're Facebook. Even if your system is better, people are just going to go to Twitter. So you've got to do something different, but have it similar. So attract the crowd that wants something a little different that works in a similar way. But I don't know where that's going to come from, the next big social media site.
If at all.
If at all.
Yeah,
Is this the end of social media?
I don't know if it's the end. It
It might be the end of innovation in social
Is
media.
this where we stagnate and plateau?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, because
I mean, like, you can see it with YouTube. No one's competing with YouTube. You can't. What other site is there? Vimeo or whatever?
Vimeo.
Vimeo? That's...
Yeah, there's... Another small site. A bunch of big YouTubers tried to leave after a bunch of the YouTube service terms changed and the algorithm changed.
Yeah, the ad revenue stuff, AdSense.
Yeah, AdSense changed everything they were doing, and a bunch of big-time YouTubers left and went to Vimeo, and then nothing changed, and then they all came back in another month and a half.
Yeah, exactly. It's a monopoly when it comes to some of these things. Like, I can't create a new social media platform and be like, I'm gonna fuck Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram. Like, no one's going to be able to touch
Is
me.
anybody trying to beat them, or are they just trying... Because I feel
Isn't that the point of business?
But I feel like Twitter came out and, like, maybe they had the idea of beating Facebook, but Facebook still got so big that you couldn't really beat them. It's just kind of like, as long as people are still coming to mine, I'm okay with Facebook.
I mean, I guess you don't have to
like
beat them per se, but you want as many users as you possibly can.
Right. So it's more of a
because that's more money.
Because I feel like Zuckerberg and the Twitter guys and the Instagram inventors. I don't know. I only know Zuckerberg. I don't know anybody else's name. But I feel like they all understand everybody's on multiple platforms, so they're not trying to run each other out, and they're
right, but they still have to compete for the same users, right? And, like, if I create a new social media platform right now and released it today, there would be little to zero interest in it because people will be like, oh, fuck this. I don't care. I already have Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Snapchat. Like, it's...
What can I do on this website that I can't do on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
Probably
Snapchat?
nothing.
Yeah, like we've covered.
So you have to carve out a niche for yourself. Like, Etsy with its weird arts and crafts crap versus, like, a lot of other websites.
Which I guess is
either.
kind of an offshoot of the old DeviantArt, I guess.
Yeah,
but, like, why didn't DeviantArt, why wasn't that successful versus Etsy? You know, like...
Because it tried too hard to have its social backbone, and it just didn't work. And it kind of encumbered itself too much and tried to be more of a social network than it was.
I mean, DeviantArt still exists. And it's
it
literally
does.
strictly for sharing art. But you could also buy prints directly through them and stuff, which is very similar to Etsy. I mean, like, I guess there's more specific customized things that you can post on Etsy, but you could also probably do it on DeviantArt.
Etsy operates more like a marketplace in my experience with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically like eBay, but for some small-time arts and crafts creator.
Yeah.
Or cosplay prop maker or whatever.
It feels like DeviantArt is more a spot for weird fan art.
I mean, that's kind of what it became, yeah.
Yeah.
When I was part of it, it was...
And that kind of paved the way for the newest surge in Tumblr users.
Oh, Jesus.
And Etsy. It's just kind of the communities that were... I mean, not to say that Tumblr didn't already have a huge community before the DeviantArt weirdness took a head. But a lot of times, if a community turns a way that a lot of the users don't like, they'll go somewhere else.
Yeah. So this brings up my next point. What does Pinterest have to offer that Instagram doesn't already have?
Pinterest, I feel... I've only been on it a couple times, and apparently I can't, unless I'm a user, I can't see that much.
Fuck that feature. That is the dumbest shit ever.
Well, I mean,
it's supposed to be inclusive and easy to use and easy to get into. That's the point.
But you need to have a profile to see anything.
That makes no sense. Like, I can scroll through one thing, and then it's like, you must log in to see the rest of this content. Fuck you. I don't want to create an account. I don't want a Pinterest account.
No.
Yeah. Well, but I feel like Pinterest is more like ideas. Like, apparently a lot of people in phys ed have told me they go on, or they know teachers who go on to find lesson plans. And I know a lot of people use it to find recipes and stuff, or artsy-dartsy DIY stuff. So I feel like Pinterest isn't more of like a social interaction. It's more of a, here's something I did, let me share it with you so you can also
do but there's so many websites and things that also do this. Like Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, they all do that GIF recipes stuff now.
I feel like I can't go 3 posts down in Facebook without coming across one of those auto-shared, this is how you cook this weird thing.
Also, we'll talk about that in a second. Autoplay. Fuck that feature. But, okay. Some DIY thing, Instructables. Like, that's a website that exists, and if you haven't gone on it, go on it. There's some cool-ass shit that you can do, and there's step-by-step instructions. It's really cool. So, what else did we just talk about? Some artsy-fartsy shit, like, or cool photos of some girl's outfit or whatever. Instagram does that shit all the time. Like, everything that Pinterest has is on a website already, somewhere. I mean, I guess the advantage is that it's centralized. So, cool.
Yeah. Like, but I feel like that could be said about anything, though. Anything on one site is taken from somewhere else. Mainly from Reddit. But I've noticed that, especially since being on Reddit a lot recently, like, you notice a lot of things, and then you go on Twitter and Facebook, and you see numerous things shared, and you're like, well, I already saw this.
Yeah, I saw that 3 days ago.
Pinterest is like, I feel like Pinterest is the same way. But I also feel like Pinterest isn't nearly as popular. Like, people know what it is, but I feel like...
I don't know, man. It definitely had its time to shine. And it was huge a couple of years ago. Like, really, really big. When it first released.
I don't know when it first came out.
Well, let's find out. We have Google. But ever since then, it hasn't really...
the technology.
It hasn't really been... I haven't heard it talked about, you know?
Well, that brings up the question of why certain social medias didn't work. Like MySpace.
March 2010.
So Pinterest lost fairly recently.
Yeah.
Kind of after.
7 years ago.
Yeah. So why it didn't work or didn't become as popular as others. So obviously MySpace is probably the biggest one in that category.
I honestly don't know why it failed.
There's Google Plus, already mentioned. LinkedIn, I feel like, just became punchlines for jokes versus an actual thing that I don't know if it did help. More power to you if it helped, and I never really understood it. But I get emails from people about it, and I'm like, I don't even have a LinkedIn. Why am I getting emails from someone asking to join? Like,
I also super don't give a fuck about who you're interacting with on LinkedIn. It's a professional version of Facebook. Fuck off. Don't care.
So, and then anything else you guys can think of, like why they didn't work, or was MySpace maybe too early, as hipstery as that sounds? Like, was it too far ahead of its time that we weren't adjusted to this yet? And then Facebook kind of, because I feel like Facebook was the one to really kick it off.
I think it was a combination of MySpace being just a hair too early, and it didn't adapt to what its users really wanted. Like, for example, I think what shocked a lot of people a few years back was that MySpace was still on, and it got bought by a new
Justin
owner,
Timberlake,
and shifted it to be a music social, like a social music website, because what people were looking for when they were going to MySpace in droves was something closer to what Facebook was when it first started.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Facebook became openly available, people started to slowly leave MySpace. And MySpace didn't really make its format more open, because it was just, you're either on your page or you're on a friend's page. You didn't really have like the wall system where you could catch up with people. And it was literally just like, oh, go to your profile or go to your friend's profile.
I remember you could see statuses, I think.
But that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
It was like you could send out like a little bulletin.
Like,
and you would have to like click on it.
Bulletins
and open
on
it.
MySpace. I forgot about those.
Yeah, you had to click those and send them out, and then
disgusting.
It was just cumbersome. It wasn't a well designed.
I will say
interface.
it wasn't smooth. Now that
I think the biggest roadblock and issue that MySpace ran into was that it wasn't user-friendly.
No.
In the slightest. Now, if you guys recall, I mean, for me, the biggest thing that stuck with me from MySpace was the ability to customize it so much. but it wasn't a basic customization like you can do on Facebook, where you can like move your about me like box somewhere else on your actual page. You actually had to basically find code and input that code into a certain area to be able to like change the background of your personal page, or you had to find these like app/widget things to be able to play music on your profile, and like all kinds of different things. It like for kids, for younger people who grew up with technology, was a lot easier to kind of adapt to. Now, older people who aren't necessarily technologically savvy, it was very difficult for them, and that's kind of a roadblock. And that's why I think Apple is so popular now. And I know that's not the topic that we're talking about, but user-friendliness is a huge thing in our society because people don't really give a shit about like taking their time to basically do some coding on MySpace to make their website or their page look the way they want it to look. On Facebook, it's simple. It's done. You can move boxes and you can edit your fucking favorite quotes or whatever. That's it.
I feel like with Facebook, though, that's kind of become a dying art. Like, I feel like people don't really personalize their profile anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
they just throw a cover image up now.
But,
their
I mean,
profile
maybe
picture.
a profile picture.
But how often do you go onto someone's Facebook page and, like, care about, like, their about me and their favorite quotes and their relationship status and their family and friends? Like, do you really like delve that deep into people? Unless you're Facebook stalking someone.
Exactly
like,
what I was about to say.
Facebook stalking.
Like, oh, this girl's hot on Tinder. Let's see if she actually exists in real life or whatever. You know, like it's not. There's no.
So has it become kind of like a catch-22 where we're more open on social media, yet we're not putting ourselves out there? Like, MySpace, I felt, was pretty personal.
Yeah.
And, like, you could just put anything you want on there. And even the beginning stage of Facebook. But then Twitter came out, and you could put a bio. You can put your location and website and stuff if you want to. But I don't think I put any of that. I just put, like, one
quick
bio. Yeah, and that was it. I was like, I don't need to put my location or my, like, website or anything like that. Like, I can tweet about whatever I want, but, like, it can be as personal as I want, but has it kind of, like, counteracted itself?
Confused.
Words were coming out of my mouth, and I wasn't even comprehending them. They just kind of...
Verbal diarrhea is what we like to call that.
Word vomit.
But...
Like,
I kind of get where you were going.
Yeah,
with
like
it.
kind of like we can, but we choose not to, and then it's almost like people like might get freaked out if you know too much about them, even though it's on social media.
It's definitely a different time,
like,
and a way different age. You know, people when we were in the MySpace era, people didn't mind kind of sharing that information because it was 2000, like.
And we also, I don't think we knew any better.
Yeah, exactly.
I was 8 in the year 2000.
Yeah, also that, or, you know, whatever
I
year.
didn't have much to share at 8.
Had a grilled cheese sandwich today.
Yeah.
Mom's the best.
Rode my bike. Like,
but now that, I guess it could be a combination of the fact that we're older, but also the information that we kind of know now as adults and or just as a generation, like... NSA is a thing, right?
Yeah.
You know? And terms of service change all the time, and Facebook wants to use that information and sell it to advertising firms and, you know, Google or whatever. And the more that happens, the more scared that society gets, so they kind of pull out information that they don't necessarily want to share with everyone. Like, I remember in the beginning stages of Facebook, maybe not the very beginning, but you could link it to you could post your phone number on your Facebook because it was easy for people to kind of get your contact information, right?
Yeah.
Do people do that as often now? I don't think so.
No.
I feel like a lot of people have probably pulled their phone numbers off of their Facebook profile because they're scared of getting some random calls and stuff. Like, it's a much different time than the era of MySpace. So I guess it's less personal, but I don't know, man. Facebook, is not the same. I literally use Facebook for the Messenger feature, and that's really it, honestly. It's become a conglomerate of old people sharing dumb posts about, like, you know, some flower going extinct or some dumb shit that I don't really care about. Or sharing pictures of their dog. Like, I don't really care.
A lot of articles, too.
Yeah.
Like,
and memes.
Some of them are interesting. Of course, memes. Memes will never die. But I just feel like...
Memes never die. Overwatch reference? Check.
I just feel like it's not... It used to be status. Like, when I first had it used to be my friends posting things. I tried to keep it witty and one-linery because I was like, I'm not telling people what I'm doing during the day unless it's something, like, particularly funny. You know, and I notice that nowadays, too. Like, it's... Like, people don't even... Like, everything that shows up on my Facebook, like, it's just pages I like or celebrities I like. That
or
post
clickbait
articles.
titles.
Yeah. Oh, clickbait.
All the fucking time,
Can't
dude.
stand
BuzzFeed.
clickbait.
Also, if your website requires me to hit next to read the rest of your article...
You're a bad person.
Murder yourself. Die. Burn your website in a dark corner of internet. And don't ever let it come out of the darkness. Because fuck that. And since we were talking about it before, any website that automatically plays a video that I didn't specifically click on, YouTube, don't do that.
I think it's more inconvenient on YouTube. I personally don't find it that inconvenient on Facebook. Maybe that's just because I don't have a lot of friends who post videos on Facebook, so it doesn't happen to me a lot.
I don't think Facebook autoplay... Oh, well, there might be a setting that you have to turn off, but...
Maybe. I feel like YouTube it is, because I might be like, okay, I need to watch this one video.
I mean, that's what YouTube is.
Yeah,
like, you click on a video because you want to watch it.
Yeah, but then it'll be like 10 seconds, and the next one automatically
Yeah, I mean, it's
plays. I was
autoplay.
like, I have stuff to do. Yeah. Like,
You can also... There's one button that you click to turn off that feature. That's very simple, you know?
Yeah.
But, me opening up CNN or whatever... It doesn't matter. Like, literally, it could be a BuzzFeed article or whatever, and then they have some fucking...
BuzzFeed.
I start scrolling through the article, reading it, that I don't care about it. I don't even know why I clicked on it in the first place, and then all of a sudden, there's, like, a super loud video that's blasting in my ears, and I realize that there's some stupid video about, you know, Kraft mac and cheese advertisement playing at the top of the page. Now I have to scroll up, pause it, or mute it, or, better yet... X out of your fucking website and never go back.
Yep. If I ever see a paywall or an advertisement that won't go away on a website, I'm just leaving.
You must log in to continue. No, I must log in to exit out of your website. Bye.
Done.
Forever. I mean, obviously, if it's like something like Facebook, that makes sense because I have to like log in to get to my account. But like to read an article,
yeah. And
like us on social media, don't pop up with that shit. Please. And then have the smallest X button. No. That has nothing to do with social media, but...
That was a well-deserved rant.
Yeah, just I mean, I had to get
bad
that out.
links are on social media. It's gonna happen, especially with old people who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. I had that burning in my tenderloins. I had to get that out.
Oh my god. Never say that again.
Check back next episode when I definitely say that again.
Oh, God. Well, there goes our 3-person strong listener base. It was nice knowing you.
So Idris Elba will never listen to us.
Oh, there it is. We found it. The Idris Elba fucking reference.
Oh
Shout outs to the people who watched episode 1 and 1.5. Which I haven't released yet.
I was watching Luther the day before, okay? We were talking about The Wire.
Yeah. But guess who's not Luke Cage?
Mike Coulter is Luke Cage. I know.
All right. Just making sure we were all on the same page.
And also,
here.
Kristen Ritter is Jessica Jones, in case you got them confused as well.
She's also a bitch. In Breaking Bad.
So anyway, social media.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Back to the original
that is
topic.
Spectacularly sidetracked. Way to go, guys. We got almost all the way through this thing without going 2 episodes back.
I'm actually surprised that we talked that much about social media without actually getting sidetracked.
Well, we got a little sidetracked.
Yeah, I mean, but it wasn't. It wasn't too far off of it.
About
right?
social media that we could talk about. And one thing I definitely want to hit on, I don't know how much time we have.
We're at like 55 minutes.
Okay, so one thing...
Minus like 10 from the beginning banter.
So we got some time. I want to touch on how it's impacted the way we act in real life, or IRL.
Ew.
For the tech guys.
I've never known a tech person who has ever been more fond of using abbreviations in actual conversation.
Yeah. Anyway.
We all cringe at that.
Yep.
Okay, then.
Anyway.
Lesson learned. Has it made us... Because I've noticed, and this could be a number of reasons, well, a lot of my friends are just... maybe more shy than they previously were, or like everybody makes jokes about how they never want to go out and just want to stay in more often than not. And I'm like, that's especially Tumblr, I guess, would be the one website where people tend to relate to each other over Tumblr and not really do anything outside in the real world. And like, if that's what you're more comfortable in, that's fine. But I feel like less people have actually done stuff outside and like interacted with each other.
It's 2017, man. You got keyboard Ninja Dojo warriors behind their keyboards thinking that they're going to change the world 180 characters at a time. Doesn't happen.
180 characters?
160. Whatever Twitter is.
140.
It's 140? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, 140. Whatever.
I've tweeted once.
Only once.
Literally one time.
Nice. Now, see, that also, since Ryan mentioned it, I tweeted a lot a while ago. Do I use Twitter as often? No, not at all. I check it all the time. I just don't tweet as much as I used to.
So, a good question is, are we hanging on to social media for a reason? Or is it really kind of becoming obsolete as the main user base is starting to age?
Probably becoming obsolete. Like I was saying with Facebook, like I don't use it.
It's going to be one of those things where I think parents / older relatives are getting into it because their kids are into it, but the kids are going out of it
because the parents are coming into it.
Yeah, that too. But also, like my parents are not. Well, my dad is, but not really. He has a profile, but he doesn't use it. And my mom is like social media resistant.
Shout out to Bob.
So, I gotta take this.
Well, I think a really important thing to think about is like 5-6 years ago in social media, everything is oversharing. You know, everybody was sharing everything they were doing and nobody would ever shut up, and it was insane. And now that people are a little more cautious with what they're sharing on Facebook and Twitter and Tumblr and Instagram, Snapchat, and everything, I think if anyone has all 5 of those on their phone, they're trying too hard for one.
Yeah, for sure.
But people are more careful about what they're sharing now, and and what that's doing is it's taking up the entertainment factor out of it for a lot of people. And I think that's kind of an interesting thing happening in social media is it's losing a lot of its sway over people.
Yeah.
What a fantastic time for Tim to have to step away to take a phone call.
I think a huge... there's actually a South Park episode about it, about Facebook and kind of how its implications on society. If you guys have seen it, it basically revolves around Stan, I think, not wanting to get on Facebook, but everybody around him was on it, and they were all basically flexing e-peens about how many friends they had on Facebook.
Right.
Now, when we were younger, and we had our, like, in the beginning stages of Facebook, when we had our Facebooks, I think that was kind of the drive. Was like, I want to know how popular I really am, or I want to be known, and I want to have as many friends as I possibly can, but it doesn't matter. It's empty platitude, right? You don't necessarily need to have the gratification of how close you are with that person. You just want it to be their friends on Facebook.
Yeah, you just want to have that little check mark.
Exactly. Now, as we've aged, we don't necessarily give a shit about these empty relationships that we don't care about. Like, I would much prefer to have one close friend than 1,000 meaningless friends on Facebook.
Yeah, I think, God, last year I had a really boring day at work, and I looked at my Facebook page, and I saw I had like 400 friends or something on it, and I was just like, hell no! How did that happen?
I don't like this many people.
Exactly. I don't even like 40 people that much.
Exactly.
So I went through and I cut out like 250 people that I hadn't ever like even bothered to look at their page or read any of their stuff. I was just scrolling over so much crap in my wall, and I cut out like 200 some people.
Yeah, you realize you were friends once in middle school.
Or people I remembered the names of from high school that I had a class with, and like, oh man, we're gonna be friends.
We hung out once. Then I remember that time that you spiked my milk at lunch class.
You bitch.
Lunch session, whatever.
Lunch
class, man.
Lunch class.
Gotta learn how to eat this grilled cheese.
You didn't eat your square pizza today?
You stole my TI-83 on the last day of senior year. I was going to use that for anything ever again, you son of a bitch.
Funny story. I actually had lost my TI-83 after high school, and I needed to buy a new one in college for one fucking class. One. So mad. Biggest waste of $120 ever. Anyway, still have it.
So we're talking about friends?
Yeah.
Definition of
Well,
friends.
we were
how
talking about
the
how
transition.
social media is starting to become a little obsolete to its main user base, which is now kind of growing old. Or a little growing out of it, I should say.
Yeah, I think
we don't care about it as much as we used to.
Yeah, it's kind of like old news, right?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
you're still on Facebook? Like, I mean, I use Twitter as a news source more than I use it as a interaction with friends.
And actually, since we're talking about how obsolete a lot of these things are becoming, where we all used to work, there was a lot of young kids that worked as servers and hosts and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Youngins.
as a
Youths. Yinglings.
Yingling.
Younglings.
As a 24-year-old, I grew up with all of these social medias, Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, Instagram. They all were part of my life. Now, these kids who are 16 to 18 years old didn't necessarily have that MySpace. They didn't have beginning stages of Facebook. So I've literally heard them talking that none of them really use Facebook or even have one, for that matter, because they prefer Twitter, they prefer Instagram, they prefer Snapchat. They've kind of skipped the whole Facebook scenario and moved on and just gone with these newer things because that's what they know.
So they never even had Facebook.
Yes, or they rarely use it, or it wasn't. They didn't go through those stages where we were like, I must friend everyone I fucking know in my high school and in my neighborhood and in 3 towns over. Like, I must know and be interacting with all of them, even though none of those people give a shit about anything that you're doing ever. But they didn't go through that. They just kind of have these empty followers, but they're on Instagram instead. They follow 9,000 people and 25,000 people follow them, even though they're Joe Schmo that lives down the road in Bumpfuck, Maryland, or whatever.
Bots. Follow for a follow, and then they get on.
Yeah, exactly. Follow for a follow or whatever, and then they take pictures of their fucking salad, and that's it. And somehow they have 25,000 followers.
I also feel like it's also a false, what's the word? False praise, I guess. Because I know like a lot of people post like, oh, if you comment, I'll like your comment. Like,
who fucking cares?
What does that do for me?
Thanks for the imaginary points on the internet.
And I like it when it's unforced too. Like if I get retweeted or a tweet liked by like comedians, it tends to happen to me the most, or other people, and it's unforced. I just happen to tag them in something, right? That feels more natural, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of exciting because I wasn't expecting this to happen because you have 9 million followers, and then you just happen to see mine and like it enough to like it. That feels good for like a day, but like when someone posts that and then you comment what they're telling you to post and then they like it, like it almost feels unforced. Like it feels
natural.
Unnatural. Yeah, like, meh.
A good example.
You told me to do it, I did it, and then you didn't give me anything about it.
As a good example, there was one of my first videos that I posted on YouTube. There were, people were commenting on it, and they were like, "Man, really good quality videos. It looks like you put a lot of time into this, whatever." And then you have people that are like, "Fuck you, kill yourself," whatever they write. And then you have this one guy that's like, "Oh my god, like awesome quality content. It seems like you really care about this kind of stuff. Blah 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 blah. Subscribe to me." And I do these subscriber shout-outs every Tuesday, and then you go on his profile, and the guy has 6 subscribers. And you're like, who the fuck are you shouting out to? You're not going to help my channel grow, so fuck off. It's emptiness. They don't care.
They want to get that 7th subscriber, that 8th subscriber. That
good for you, dude.
Stop until I have double digits.
I mean, good for you that you're trying to get out there and become, follow your dreams or whatever. But also,
there's a way to do it.
If you really want to pursue your dream of being a content creator or something like that, do what you love and do it well, and people will follow, right? Me going to someone's profile and being like, if you don't like this, comment, share, subscribe, and blow on my asshole, then you won't be successful and neither will I. No, who fucking cares? If 6 people watch this and laugh, that's better than having 100 people just watch the first 12 seconds and then being like, oh, all right, cool. Subscribe. Whatever.
Yeah.
Subscribe for a subscription. No, I'm not going to subscribe to you just because you subscribe to me. You can unsubscribe to me. I don't give a fuck. Whatever. You can unfollow me on Twitter because you asked me to fucking follow you. Follow for a follow. I don't care.
Yeah, I've had that.
I don't want to follow you. I don't know who you are.
Happen to me, with people my age. It would be someone who I lost contact with, and then they would follow me, and I wouldn't follow them back because I'm like, I don't care. And then I noticed a few days later they're not following me. I was like, okay, then better off without you.
Yeah, you cared that much to come back to my profile to see if I was also following you.
Yeah, and then you only followed me for me to follow you back, and then once I didn't, you unfollowed me. I'm gonna follow you, or I'm gonna, I guess, follow. If I'm generally interested, and I don't care if you follow me back. If you're posting stuff I enjoy, I'm going to keep watching you and following you. But
yeah,
and same thing, vice versa. If you like what I do, if you like following me because you think I'm funny or enjoy my tweets / quotes from my kids, students, not actual kids, just to clarify that, and fine, but I don't expect me to do stuff for you too. I feel like that's a factor too. We expect all this back and forth when it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah. It's very similar to doing a favor for someone or doing charity work, but then expecting recognition for it. Fuck you. No. Just because you went to a soup kitchen doesn't mean you need to announce it to the world that you were a good person today. You're not.
I mean, it's okay to be proud of yourself.
Right, but also be humble.
Exactly. Humbleness makes everything much better in just
I'm not
any kind of content.
I'm not going to like you more as a human because you helped another human today. You should have just done that.
Yeah.
Or if you're just an asshole, then just be an asshole to people, and then I'll like you.
You shouldn't expect a reward for doing something you should do.
Exactly. But, I mean, that has nothing to do with social media. Kind of. I mean,
well, that was going to be my next question: has social media affected that aspect of our lives?
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah, because we write something, we expect likes / retweets or whatever, right? We expect it when we write something. Has that flowed into real life where we say something, we expect 5 people to say "good job" in response, whereas you could just, if you know you did a good job at whatever task you were doing, just know you did a good job.
Yeah, self-pat on the back.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah, it's definitely changed, the way society thinks. How? I'm not exactly sure, because, we grew up with this, and we've seen the change happen, and it's difficult for us to, pull ourselves out of that and be like, all right, where were we 10 years ago? Where were we 5 years ago in terms of our thought processes and all that kind of stuff? But I don't know. I definitely know it has changed us. Like, we're a lot more reserved. We don't necessarily extend a hand to other people as much when it comes to, like, you know, more important things. But God forbid you share this fucking photo of a dog, you want like 10 likes, or else, you know.
That just made me think of something I saw on Facebook a couple years ago. It would always be like the parents of some kid, like, we get a puppy if this photo gets 1 million likes. Like, shut up. Don't hold your kids accountable, or don't make your kids, like, hold the internet accountable for you being a shitty parent.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? If this photo gets 1 million likes, we get a free dog or some
scroll
crap like
past
that.
this and you'll go to hell. It's like, Jesus isn't going to save me because I like to post on Facebook.
Share bait, clickbait,
yeah,
you know, all that good shit. Oh no, wait, not good shit. Stuff that makes me want to stab myself in the eye with a fork. That's it. Like. Oh, share this podcast even if you haven't listened to it. Just share it. Share it. Share it. Share it.
I mean, you can do that, but also listen to it.
Please.
Yeah.
We like the sound of our own voices. You should too.
Yeah.
Is that going to be the tagline of Sqwadcast?
We like our voices, so you should too.
Oh my god.
Now we just need a 10-second YouTube ad with Idris Elba saying that line. They like hearing their own
How
voices.
is Idris Elba becoming the mascot of Sqwadcast?
This is all your fault.
Yeah, Ryan.
You guys just won't let it go.
What can I say, man?
Oh my god.
Why should we let it go? It's Idris Elba.
Let it go. No? Ah, jeez, man, come on. There's wires and shit.
Brought that onto yourself.
Fair. Well, with all that being said, and being hit by a pillow, I think this is a best a time as any to probably stop, unless someone has something else to add.
No, we've been at it for a while.
Yeah.
I took that 2-minute time out.
Yeah. I mean, we
I'm
kept
back.
going.
I heard you.
It was
Tim
probably
went
the
to the
strongest
penalty
part
box.
of the podcast when you went away.
It wasn't just 2 minutes of silence.
No.
Patiently waiting.
Just Newton balls
Wow.
for 2 minutes.
Wow.
And then I came back.
No, we just had the comfort of a roaring fire.
Roaring. But since we talked about it so much today, about social media, is it a good time for us to plug our social media today? And be very vain?
Be kind of hypocritical.
Would it? I don't know.
No, really. I mean,
Let's be real. We're all three of us are going to share this later, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna share.
I mean,
and,
once I render it and fix everything, so probably tomorrow. We haven't decided on a schedule of when we're posting these.
no.
The last
However,
one went out on
wherever,
Wednesday,
whenever.
right?
Yeah.
Last one went out
As
on
long
Wednesday.
as it comes out before the next one.
Isn't that usually how it works?
That's how episodes usually work,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Let's not disrupt that.
Oh, okay. The last one came out on Wednesday, correct?
Yes.
Are we going to do these on Wednesday, or do you want them on, like, Tuesdays?
I feel like that we should have.
I feel like we should have set this up while we're not recording.
Hey, don't worry about it, man. Anyway, so
Fade out.
your
Random banter.
Twitter
Yes, my Twitter.
information and stuff.
My Twitter and Facebook page, even though I'm not that active on the Facebook page, it's hard to like keep up with everything while I'm also doing things. Is Kinsella Comedy, my last name, and comedy. That's Facebook and Twitter. And then Snapchat is TubaTim817 because I can't change that apparently.
I
So
mean, you can't.
yeah, I tried. So if you all follow me on that, I make bowling pin puns on Snapchat, so that's always
Very
fun.
often, actually.
Yeah, and also take shots at Kellyanne Conway involving those bowling pins. And that's about it. That's my stuff.
Well, I mean, if they're not watching on YouTube, where can they find you?
I don't know.
All right, well, you're probably watching this on YouTube.
I
'cause
share it
that's
on
the only-
Facebook. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know if they actually go on YouTube and search for it, or if they just use the link I post on Facebook.
Which is the link to YouTube.
Let us
so I
know
guess-
what you do and how you listen to us.
Yeah, I
all
mean,
three of you.
But actually comment on what you thought about, like what you think about social media and kind of how that has changed in your life or anything that we talked about today. Let us know. We'll talk about it next episode if there's any like interesting comments or anything like that. For me, my Twitter is Zellyn Gaming. From I was trying to stream a lot on Twitch. XELYNN Gaming. On my Twitter, you're not allowed to have my Facebook or my Snapchat because I don't post anything on my story, and I don't want random dick pics. You can follow me on Twitch at Be the Snake, BTHESNAKE, and then also on the YouTubes at Zellyn. So that's what I got. I don't know if Ryan even wants to shout out his social medias, but
Well, I've tweeted once about 7 years ago.
so if you want to see that, follow him at
It wasn't a good tweet.
oh.
No, it's not like the worst tweet of all time, but I'm pretty sure it was the most boring tweet ever.
Hey,
Tweeted?
the first
Twet?
the twet?
I don't know what the
Oh my
past
God.
tense of tweeting is. Tweeted?
This
I'm
is
pretty sure
the
it's tweeted.
longest outro ever.
Definitely, I'm pretty sure it's not twet.
I don't know. I like it. It's
That's
got a
like-
ring to it, though.
But that's like if a tweet got wet. You got a twet.
It's... Oh, my God.
Anyway, don't follow Ryan on any social media.
It's the smart choice. I never post, and it's never funny.
So you can catch him here next week on Sqwadcast instead. And
Never
listen to his-
talking and never being funny.
Who knows?
Well, that you just talked, and that was actually kind of funny, so...
Shut up, Blake.
Shit.
Sqwadcast out.
That's actually going to be the outro. That was it. I'm stopping it right there, by the way.
Excellent.
That's it. I hope no one else has anything to say, because we're done.